Hello and welcome back to AfriFreedom Channel, your voice of truth and fearless commentary across Africa and beyond. If you haven't already, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss important updates and thought-provoking discussions like this one. We are building a community of Africans and global citizens who care deeply about justice, sovereignty, and the truth, so drop your thoughts in the comment section. We ask that you engage respectfully, but don't hold back, we want to hear from you. Disclaimer: the views expressed in this video are intended to provoke critical thinking and informed public dialogue. All claims discussed are based on publicly available information and opinion, and are not meant to incite hate or violence toward any group, government, or individuals. Viewer discretion is advised. Recent developments in Nigeria have sparked national and international outrage. Reports have revealed that individuals once known to be part of violent terrorist factions, many of whom were directly involved in attacks that targeted Christian communities and unarmed civilians, are being released under a government-backed rehabilitation program.
A number of things Christians have suffered in this country can be compared to the crucifixion of the Lord. Do we talk about the takeover of all Christian schools, all mission schools by Nigerian government? They took over those schools, destroyed them, turned our educational institutions into houses of formation of criminals and mediocres. People who can't write simple letters, who can't speak any language correctly, who can't solve their own problems, and won't pass any exam without cheating. And that is like crucifying, because that is a house. The school is a house of formation of character. They have taken the body away. They have removed all signs of his death. Since after the takeover of schools, who has the correct statistics of the number of churches that have been burnt down in this country? Who knows how many Christians have been killed in this country because they are Christians? Some right inside the church. Some will tell you these are criminals. They are not just targeting Christians. Take it easy. How many of those who perpetrate these crimes have been arrested and prosecuted? How many of them are in jail? How many of them have faced the death penalty? The Catholic Church is against the death penalty. I'm talking about Nigerian law. But we know that if anything happens to some of those who perpetrate this crime, either in self-defense or in resistance, the government stands up. There is outrage everywhere in all levels of government. This selective outrage of government, this selective outrage of the police, of the army, of the security agencies, when innocent citizens are massacred and when criminals are repelled, and in the repelling they die. This selective outrage is like, it's not only that they have killed him, they have taken the body away. They want to wipe off every trace. And some Christians are being provoked legitimately to react. Anytime any of them reacts, they are said to be taking the laws into their hands. But all those who trample the law with their feet, trample upon the law. They kill, they rape, they maim, they sack farmers. They harvest crops of farmers and feed it to their cattle. And when you say no, why are you doing this? It is death. And when they do that, they record it and post it to government to see. If you ask them question, you are killed. if you chase them away and while running away they die, you'll be condemned to death. This, permit me to say, is pure, sheer provocation. But this is Easter. Christians still have to be told to embrace the path of peace, forgiveness. But in one of the readings yesterday from the book of Exodus, the people were crying to Moses. They were stranded in the desert. The sea was there. And Moses turned to God. What do? We are stranded here in the bush, in the desert. What did God tell him? Why are you crying to me? Tell the people to move, and you raise your rod. Raise your staff. We as Nigerians, as Christians, like the Israelites escaping from slavery, must learn to do certain things now differently. We cannot continue in our selfish indifference. We have to bring the values of the gospel into our individual and collective lives. That is the only hope we have for survival. While pleading with those whose responsibility it is to govern and to protect us, today many of them will go online in television and in their official handles, social media handles, to wish Nigerians, especially Christians, happy Easter. Oga, keep your wish. Don't wish me happy Easter. Protect my life. Don't wish me happy Easter. Do your job. Because this cloud that is gathering, this darkness that is gathering, if it is allowed to extinguish the light of faith of Christians, this country will be plunged into total darkness. And successive governments that have stood idly by and watching while this is happening should only blame themselves and not any other person if anything like that happens. But today is Easter. Our prayer is that Christians will learn really to live the life of the risen Lord. And that even those who are not Christians, looking at us, should learn that the only hope for the salvation after life, and even for peace in this world, is living out the commandments of Christ, of God, summarized by Christ, loving God and loving.
Individuals are being labeled as repentant with the claim that they have turned a new leaf. But what does repentance mean in the context of mass murder? Can a mere declaration of change undo the trauma inflicted on countless families? What mechanisms are in place to verify the sincerity of such repentance, and more importantly, who ensures accountability if these individuals return to violence? This policy raises serious moral, legal, and psychological questions. What happens to the survivors, to the widows, to the children orphaned by these acts of terror? How are they supposed to coexist with their former tormentors, now living freely, possibly even in the same communities? Are we sending a message that crime can be erased with time and lip service, while victims are left to quietly suffer and rebuild alone? What would you say to a mother who lost her child in an attack carried out by one of these so-called repentant terrorists? How do we, as a society, define justice when the guilty walk free and the innocent live in fear? Share your thoughts below. In a separate but equally powerful moment on the African political stage, Julius Malema, the outspoken South African political leader, recently made a declaration that echoed across the continent. In reference to the United States' history of imposing sanctions and threatening war, Malema stated that this generation cannot be bullied. His words weren't just for South Africa, they resonated with millions.
We want to make it very clear that we should not be confused with a generation of cowards who can be bullied by imperial forces and power-hungry individuals intoxicated by the wealth of apartheid. The United States of America has bullied nations before and imposed senseless and arbitrary sanctions and threatened wars. But we are a different generation. We are a generation of economic freedom fighters and will not be bullied, Mr. President. We agree with you, President, that we should not be bullied. We stand on the shoulders of the giants who confronted the establishment with their very lives, and we are willing to follow in their footsteps. We are not cowards, and they must not try us.
Of Africans who have watched their countries bend to the pressure of foreign influence, often at the expense of their own people. Malema's message touches a nerve. Why should African nations continue to be dictated to by former colonizers or global superpowers? Whether it's through economic sanctions, conditional aid, or behind-the-scenes political pressure, the sovereignty of African nations is often undermined in the name of democracy, stability, or strategic partnerships. But who defines these terms, and for whose benefit? Are we truly independent if we still require validation or permission from Washington, Brussels, or London to determine our own policies? Is the era of Western dominance over Africa finally coming to an end, or are we still operating under a modern form of colonial control dressed in diplomacy? Is it time for African nations to form stronger intercontinental alliances, rather than continually looking outward for support and solutions? Can Pan-African unity ever be more than an idea? Can it become a powerful reality? What are your thoughts on Malema's position? Do you agree that a new generation of Africans is rising, ready to resist foreign interference and reclaim control of our future? Let's talk about it in the comments. What we've discussed today is not just about two headlines, it is the reflection of deep structural challenges and the critical awakening of African consciousness. From the controversial release of terrorists under the guise of repentance, to the bold stance against foreign political intimidation, these are moments that define the soul of a nation, and of a continent. This is about justice. This is about sovereignty. And this is about the future of Africa. So, what kind of Africa do you want to see? One that forgets its past for political convenience, or one that confronts it with courage and builds a future of integrity and independence? If this video stirred something in you, don't stay silent. Like, share, and subscribe to AfriFreedom Channel, and most importantly, keep the conversation going in the comments. We are the generation that must ask the hard questions and demand real answers. Until next time, stay alert, stay informed, and stay free.